All right, kiddos, we are going to do the second half of our Unit 6, Lesson 3, which is how do you choose which method, okay? So the factoring method, we can use that when the equation is factorable. How do we know that it's factorable? If the discriminant is a perfect square, then we know without certainty or with certainty that it is going to be able to be factored. And so I just put in, our list of perfect squares. Obviously, there's more than this, okay? When do we use the square root method? When there's no bx term, okay? So if you just see two terms, ax squared plus c, then you can use the square root method. When do you use completing the square? When the a value equals 1, that makes it so that you can skip the second step where you divide by a. And then the b is even, meaning that you won't have to add any fractions to, or anything like that. You won't have any fractions when you divide this by 2. And then finally, the quadratic formula can be used for all other cases. I'm going to go through these notes kind of nuts, okay? We're going to start by factoring method, and we're going to find which of these 4 is going to be best solved by factoring. All right. And so let's see. Oh, and I'm sorry, the directions say choose a method to solve each equation, and then you can only use each method once, okay? So let's look at these 4. Maybe I don't have to do them in the order of the list up above. Let's see which one is easiest to identify. And I'm looking at number 2, okay? There is no bx term here. So I want to solve this one using the square root method. Okay, the square root method. So let's go ahead and do that. Remember the square root method. I need to isolate the x squared. So add 4 to both sides. 9x squared equals 4. Divide by the a value. X squared equals 4 over 9. And then what we're going to do is square root both sides. And so remember that x is going to give us a plus or minus, or that square root, is going to give us a plus or minus. The square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. And I'm finished. So I found the one for the square root method really easy. Okay, let's look at the rest of the 3. Okay, which method can we do next really easy? Let's see. Both of these have an a value of 1, but this one is odd and this one is even. Okay, so I'm going to use this one up here, and I'm going to do completing the square method. So let's do this number 1 here, completing the square. So we're going to minus the 7 from both sides. X squared minus 6x equals, and then 73 minus 7 is 66. And then here's what I'm going to do. Don't forget, I take half of the b, which is negative 3, and then I square that. Okay? So the squared number is what I add to both sides, plus 9 and plus 9. And so 66 plus 9 is going to give me 75. And now on this side, I'm going to go ahead and create a perfect square using this number. It'll be x minus 3 squared. And now I can square root both sides. Okay, so the x minus 3 squared and the 75. And that is going to give me x minus 3 equals, and then I'm going to break this up into 25 times 3. The square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 3 can't come out. And don't forget your plus or minus. And then I'm going to add my 3 to both sides. So I get x equals 3 plus or minus 5 square roots of 3. And that is my final answer. Alrighty. Alrighty. Now let's look at examples 3 and 4. And we have 2 methods that we haven't used yet. We haven't used factoring and we haven't used the quadratic formula. So let's look at both 3 and 4 and see what their discriminants are equal to. Okay? So for both of them, A, B, and C, 2, 8, and then I need to subtract the 3 here. So this C value will be 7. Okay? And now the discriminant is of B squared minus 4AC. That's the discriminant. So 8 squared minus 4 times 2 times 7. It's going to be 64 minus 4 times 2 is 8 times 7 is 56. 64 minus 56 is 8. Okay, so that is not a perfect square. Let's do that with this down here. Okay, B squared minus 4 times A times C is 81, and then 4 times 14 is, well, that should be a 56. 56. And then 81 minus 56. So my discriminant for number 4 is 25, which is a perfect square. So I'm going to factor number 4. I'm going to factor number 4. So let me do my X puzzle. 14 and 9. I believe that would be 7 times 2. X plus 7, X plus 2. And then remember, I can just do my shortcut. X equals negative 7. X equals negative 2. And I'm done with my factoring method. Now let's go do my last one, which is going to end up being the quadratic formula. So we've kind of already done part of the quadratic formula. 2x squared plus 8x plus 7. Okay, so we've got x equals negative b plus or minus the square root. Well, b squared minus 4ac, we've already done that work right here, so it's just 8. All divided by 2a. Okay. Let me go ahead and just do some work to factor 8 over here. It's going to end up being 2 square roots of 2. Okay. And so I have x equals negative 8 plus or minus 2 square roots of 2 over 4. And so if we need to simplify that further, 8 divided by 4 would be a 2, and 2 divided by 4 is 1/2. So let's do it this way. Negative 4 plus or minus 1 square root of 2 over 2. I just divided them both by 2, or all the numbers. And then this is simplified. All right, so I'm going to zoom way out. Whew, that's a little blurry. So these are all 4 of my methods. All 4 of the methods that we've learned and how we know when to use them. Okay, I hope that this helps. Honestly, you can use this formula every single time to solve everything. If you can identify which method to use, it'll save you a lot of time. And if not, that's okay. If you try to factor it and you get something that's prime, then you need to use the quadratic formula anyway. You can still get there. I'm just trying to save you time by teaching you the best ways to know how to use which method. All right, kiddos, until next time.